Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today we're reacting to Sleep and Dreams. How do they work? So this was kind of a request. I kind of made the request and someone put this in the request in a sense because I was trying to explain how we dream in a sense. I think the reason why we dream is because our brain is pretty active when we're sleeping. And from what I hear from the research that I've done was the fact that our brain is active storing what we have in our short-term memory into long-term memory, and whenever it's doing that, it's obviously firing in our brain is firing neurons or whatever it is, electrical signals, and sometimes those activate memories and whatever else. That's how I think dreams work. So let's go ahead and get started. That's my thoughts on dreams anyway. Sleep,
Hi
I mean,
everyone. Today we will be taking a look into the topics of sleep and dreams and how they work together. There is a lot of mystery behind these processes, and therefore we decided to take a deeper look into the mechanisms involved. Sleep is a vital component of a person's overall health, which is often neglected. It is recommended that adults get from 7 to 8 hours of sleep, while children require substantially more, with 13 hours. It allows for a mind and body to recharge, while also repair itself from many of the stressors it faces during the day.
I've heard that too. You know, I've always thought that sleep was like recharging our batteries or our fuel, but that's food. That's why I was wrong about that. So, but yeah, I've heard that it's ways of our body repairing itself and also storing short-term memory into long-term memory.
An internal body clock regulates your sleep cycle, controlling when you feel tired and ready for bed or when you are alert. This clock operates on a 24-hour cycle known as a circadian rhythm.
I do wonder why it's 24 hours. Is it because of the Earth's rotation? I have a feeling that is so. Because of when sunlight is out, it's best for you to be out and about and hunting and gathering food because you can see. Then at night, when you can't really do much, you just basically just rest. You might as well just turn your brain off and rest at that point. And generally speaking, at least you'd hope that you'll be safe from predators. But then again, predators at night hunt better at night, so not really all that safe.
Throughout the day, we get increasingly tired. These feelings will peak in the evening leading up to bedtime. Upon sleep, release of melatonin induces drowsiness, while high levels of hormone cortisol in our body promotes alertness as we wake up. Without adequate sleep, it can impair our ability to concentrate and process memories.
Even when we're sleeping, our brain is still active. A part of the brain called the hypothalamus contains a structure called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which is the body's biological clock. In conjunction with the thalamus, it regulates slow-wave sleep, which is also known as delta sleep. There are 5 stages of the sleep cycle, which the average person goes through every 90 minutes. We typically cycle through these stages 4 to 5 times a night.
Is it the 90 minutes for everyone? Like constant? Is it like a constant number? I wonder if it varies a little bit. Considering if it's very weird. If it's very constant, like 90 minutes, give or take 5 minutes. That's pretty interesting. If it's constant for everyone. But then again, I guess it all depends on how comfortable you are in sleep. Like for me, I sleep in a terrible bed, so like I don't think I get that much sleep because I wake up with freaking pain all across my back. So I don't think I get that kind of sleep. But I'm just curious though, if everyone gets the same quality of sleep, does everyone get it every 90 minutes, give or take 5 minutes? That'd be pretty interesting.
Stages 1 and 2 are considered as light sleep. This is a transition from being awake to falling asleep. Stages 3 and 4 are known as delta sleep, and stage 5 is known as rapid eye movement sleep, more commonly known as REM sleep. Let's look at these stages into more depth. Stage 1 is the beginning of the sleep cycle and is relatively a light stage of sleep. Stage 1 can be considered a transition period between wakefulness and sleep. This period of sleep lasts only around 5 to 10 minutes. If you awaken someone during this stage, they might report that they weren't really asleep.
I do that actually a lot. Or I close my eyes and I just lay there and I'm getting rest, but I'm not asleep. Although I'll say the 5 to 10 minutes a bit of a lie. For me, it's more like 2 hours of me laying there trying to go to sleep.
In stage 1, The brain produces high amplitude theta waves, which are very slow brain waves, as shown here. Stage 2 is also known as a light stage of sleep, and it lasts for approximately 20 minutes. In this stage, body temperature starts to decrease, heart rate and breathing begin to slow down, and muscles may twitch. The brain begins to produce bursts of rapid, rhythmic brainwave activity known as sleep spindles, as shown here. Stages 3 and 4 is a transitional period between light sleep and very deep sleep. These stages last around 30 minutes. In these stages, the cells in our body produce the most growth hormone to service bones and muscles, allowing the body to repair itself. Bedwetting and sleepwalking are most likely to occur at the end of stage 4 sleep. In these stages, deep, slow brain waves, known as delta waves, begin to emerge.
I do wonder, is that the only time that our body can repair itself is during stage 3 and 4?
As shown here.
Stage 5 is the REM sleep, short for rapid eye movement sleep. In this stage, your eyes keep darting back and forth underneath your closed eyelids. REM sleep is associated with the paralysis of muscle systems in the body, with the exception of those that make circulation and respiration possible. This is why it's sometimes called paradoxical sleep, because while the brain and other body systems become more active, muscles become more relaxed. Additionally, REM sleep has an important role in learning and memory, and there are different chemicals associated with this phase of sleep. Finally, REM sleep is the phase of sleep where dreaming occurs. Dreaming typically only occurs in REM sleep.
And I'm sorry, Sri Lanka? Deepak, I believe, stated that I think it's him. There's so many different doctors and scientists that I've been watching lately, and I can't quite remember. It's an Indian. I don't know. I can't remember if he's a doctor or not. I think he is actually, but he's talking about how we actually go into REM sleep like 3 or 4 times a night. And I was trying to think for myself, have I experienced that? And most of the time we don't really remember our dreams. I don't know why, but I do remember sometimes having like 2 dreams at most, and which then confirms what it says in my personal experience. I have experienced that. It's like, yeah, sometimes I have one dream and then I also have another dream, and sometimes I remember the last dream, but I remember having another dream prior to it, but I don't know what it's about.
So why do we only dream during the REM sleep? Well, we should first explain that your brain waves during REM sleep are very similar to brain waves during wakefulness. However, brain waves during stages 1 to 4 of the sleep cycle, otherwise known as non-REM sleep, have different types of brain waves. What makes them different are the types of chemicals present in each phase. The 3 chemicals involved are acetylcholine, serotonin, and norepinephrine. In the following segment, we will describe how these chemicals work within the brain throughout our sleep cycle. The mechanism might be a little confusing to understand at first, so we encourage you to pause the video and rewind at any point if you need a refresher. When we're awake, all 3 chemicals show activity. The most important chemical here is norepinephrine. This chemical helps to put your brain in a state of high alert and upregulates activity in wake-promoting regions to ensure that they stay awake and alert. As we transition into stage 1, which is the non-REM phase of the sleep cycle, we are now asleep.
Serotonin?
Norepinephrine is inactive because, as mentioned, norepinephrine induces wakefulness. So it makes sense that it's inactive when we're asleep. Acetylcholine is also inactive in this phase because the serotonin's job in this stage is to suppress acetylcholine signals. So the only chemical active during this phase is serotonin.
They didn't explain what that ACE, you know what, that top word. Didn't really explain it. Okay, nephrine, the bottom word. The bottom word they explain as keeping awake. I've heard that before when I worked in the hospital. I have no idea what it is or how it's used. I've heard that word before though. Now I know. I guess it's something to keep you awake. And then the top one, the top word. Good lord, I will never be able to pronounce this correctly. Never said anything about it. I wonder if this is part later into the REM sleep. Serotonin. I've heard that again many times, but let's continue
In
on.
REM sleep, serotonin and norepinephrine are
Okay.
completely silenced. Since serotonin is silenced, acetylcholine is no longer suppressed and instead it's activated. The activation of acetylcholine creates a particular oscillating pattern.
Oops, sorry. Gonna go back. I didn't realize this, but I should have caught that a little bit early on. So the sheer fact that in the wake you have all of them, I guess, because green looks like it's what's being activated, and the red are being suppressed, and then the cross is being non-active at all. So during your wake you have all of them. I guess it's just a matter of how much of each you get. During non-REM sleep, you get serotonin when you're in that transitional phase. Okay, I get it.
Acetylcholine creates a particular oscillating pattern of electrical activity. These waves pass on from your pons, which is an area in your brain, through another area in the brain called the occipital cortex, which is involved in visual processing. This creates the vivid imaginary world which plays out inside your dreams.
So it affects our visual cortex, and how are we seeing this if it's not through our eyes? This goes, but I guess because we can see it, we're conscious of it. It's just that we're not realizing that we're not viewing it through our eyes. We're viewing it literally in our brain. The images. Although I will say, everything that we see in this world, awake, in the wakeful world, is always being viewed in our brain, nowhere else. You're not viewing it in your eyes. You're not viewing it out there. You're literally, that information that goes into your eyes then gets processed in that part of the brain, and then in my perspective, your consciousness is now viewing it in your brain. So again, I stated this before, that everything that you're seeing, it's the past. You are only ever experiencing the past. Your consciousness is always ever experiencing now. But what you see in the world is the past. Why is that? Because our eyes can only takes in information from light sources. If there's no light, there's nothing we can see. There's no information out there. So there must be light for our eyes to process what's out there, what's being reflected back into our eye. Then that light takes time to get from the source to the object to your eye, and then from your eye to your I forgot what they call those things, but anyway, your nerves, I guess, nerves into your brain, for all this information to travel from the source that you're looking at into your eye to your brain, and then your consciousness to be aware of that. All that takes time. I mean, there are very tiny amounts of time, but nonetheless it takes time. So basically none of the information you're viewing right now through your eyes, even right now, is all actually in the past, even though technically this is recorded in the past and will be uploaded later on, and you'll be viewing it now, but what you're viewing is still late in the past. But yeah, that's honestly mind-blowing. Whenever I first, I don't know if I've realized this. Probably not. I have a feeling it's a video out there that either pointed it out and then I realized that, but this should have been known. But I don't think everyone knows this is obvious, though.
Dreams are images and stories our mind creates during sleep, which play on our emotions. They tend to be fragments of memory, disconnected and illogical. There's a lot of mystery behind the research and development of dreams.
So far my dreams have, well, no. My dreams seem to be logical in a sense. Sometimes fantasy, but it still has logical sense to it, though.
Dreaming often occurs during the rapid eye movement sleep stage, as mentioned before, thought to occur from brainstem activation and stimulation of the limbic system. Every night we have 3 to 5 dreams, and during 8 hours of sleep, most dreams occur during 2 hours of the rapid eye movement sleep stage. Although dreams tend to be forgotten upon awakening, There are many theories behind why dreams occur in the first place.
Ooh.
A major theory is that it allows for the processing of information in the brain, which assists in memory formation.
Oh, that's what I'm wondering. Yeah, I think I said this before in another video where it's talking very similar to this. The reason why we have dreams is because our brain is probably reinforcing the connection of that memory. And every time it's trying to reinforce that connection, it's constantly activating that memory and it's playing out in your dreams. So if you dream if you dream like I have a feeling though that when you dream, it's not going to be exactly that memory that you're dreaming of, but it's going to be an amalgamation of what you're trying to memorize and other things. Because it's not, the way I think our brain is shaped and how it memorizes is just connections. How each connection fires in certain sequences and certain times brings up memory. It's not like an SD card where I can say, oh, here we go. We can look at this. So this green spot is one memory, whole complete memory. This blue one complete memory. This other green one's one complete memory. It's not like that. It's like this green, that green, and this green creates one memory, and then this green, this blue, and this green creates another memory. So this green is being used twice, and this green is being used twice for two separate memories. But it needs this whole set to make one memory, and these. Oh god, this is kind of this green and this green and this green to create another memory. So you could have this L shape to be a memory, and then the other L shape, and then maybe even this L shape. So certain parts of these things are going to be constantly being reused to formulate a memory, and some of those connections are going to be again reused to formulate memory. So while this one pathway formulates 1/12 of a memory, that same pathway can be used for another memory. That's my theory.
There are a lot of experiences and information that we collect throughout the day through many interactions. Dreaming, therefore, allows us to categorize and store this information effectively. In addition, dreams can also be a connection into our unconscious mind. It can give insight into our hidden desires and emotions. Through a connection of different memories and experiences, it can reveal how we are truly feeling. There are many benefits to the brain from dreaming. One major benefit is creativity. During dreaming, our brain starts to combine all the information that we have recently learned during the day with all the information that we have already stored in our brain. It starts to build new connections, and through this pattern, we create a revised mind web of associations. We can then start to develop new insights into previously unsolved problems. Another major benefit of creativity is based on emotional processing theory. As we dream, it can serve as an emotional therapy that alleviates stress and allows us to process traumatic experiences. We can therefore wake up the next morning feeling better about those experiences. Dreaming, as a result, provides us with emotional convalences.
I don't know if I ever had that. Creativity. No, I don't think I've had any of these things come from my dreams. I don't think my dream has allowed me to be creative, nor I don't think about emotional. Well, I will say the emotional part. I'll say I had a dream and it got emotional, but I was not emotional prior to that dream because of that memory. So it's weird. Didn't really help me process it. Maybe it did. I don't know. I don't think so though.
Lastly, dreaming can also aid with memory consolidation. It allows us to transfer information from our short-term to our long-term memory storages. In conclusion, there is still a lot of information yet to be discovered by researchers in this field, as these mechanisms prove to be difficult to explore. We hope we were able to provide you with some insight into the mechanisms of sleep and its relationship to dreaming. As we fall asleep every night and start dreaming, it's interesting how realistic our dreams can seem in connection to the different emotions and feelings that we experience from them.
Okay, so a link to this video will be in the description. I will always try to do that. And also you can check out other things on their channel as well. But yeah, a lot of things that I've learned from just roaming around YouTube, I'm glad that it reinforces what I've learned, so that it helps confirm what I believe as well. But yeah, it's very interesting. I guess they're still trying to explain why we need sleep and why we need dreams. And so far the theories seem, as far as I can tell, I mean, they seem to all point and make sense, you know. It's kind of odd that we need sleep Because I've always thought of sleep as like recharging your battery, but someone said no, that's food. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Actually, calories is what provides battery power to us. So what is sleep? And it's been kind of a question that I've had, of course, and just curious and interesting to know about why we do certain things, why we have certain habits, why we act certain ways. It's just fascinating to know. Anyways, that's my reaction to sleep and dreams. How do they work? If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.